As we enter into this time of prayer, this time of reflection upon the words that we have just heard, we just want to take time to allow those words to take deeper root into our hearts. One of the things that Sister Agnes Therese spoke in her talk that really struck me was that Jesus never leaves us. That he never leaves us. Sister Agnes Therese and I were down in Florida about a week or so ago, and we were doing a parish mission, and each day we would have the parish mission and we would say, we're not sure if we're going to be back here tomorrow night or not. We're not sure what the bishops will decide about public masses as well as other gatherings. And the second night of the mission, I was closing up our time of prayer and adoration, and I just had this strong sense that the Lord was saying to us that he was always within our reach. That he's always within our reach. That we might not be able to be physically in his presence, that we might not be able to receive him physically into our bodies, but that he remains within our reach, that he is always with us. And so as we begin this time of prayer, gazing upon the Lord in the Eucharist through virtual adoration, might be a little bit of a surreal experience. Maybe it's uncomfortable. It's not what we might desire. We know that he is with us, and that we are with him. And I'm sure that we bring this into this time of prayer all kinds of different things that are on our minds and our hearts, all kinds of different emotions that fluctuate by the minute, and as well the things that we have just heard in this talk and testimony. And it's just a time to come and be with the Lord, to enter into a time of silence, a time of grace. And so as we enter into this time, I just invite us all to maybe call to mind that one thing. Maybe there was one thing that really struck our hearts, or one thing that the Lord has really been speaking to us. And to allow that to go deeper. A lot of times we might say to pay attention to the stirrings in our hearts, but what does that mean? The stirrings in our hearts are our affections. What's stirred up within us? Are we experiencing a joy or a peace? A closeness to the Lord? And just take time to allow the word to really move in our hearts. If we experience that joy, to allow that joy to flourish, to well up within us, to experience that peace. Just allow our whole bodies to relax in the Lord's embrace, in that place for us, that place that's just for us underneath our crosses, the crosses in the world that we are in right now. And so we'll just take time, just take some time of silence, maybe 5 minutes or so, and just to allow the Lord to speak to us and just to stay in this silence. If you desire to have a little bit longer time, go ahead and put the pause button. It's not an option that you normally have. We'll continue after about 5 minutes and just allow the Lord to speak to our hearts. As we have had this time of silence, we just thank the Lord for His grace, and we also maybe call to mind different times in our prayer. Maybe there was a resistance. Maybe there was a resistance or an anxiety that was in our hearts as we heard Sister speak or in the testimony. And to press into that, to press into that anxiety, because there's something there that the Lord wants to speak to, where He wants to bring His peace, He wants to bring His healing, He wants to bring His presence. But we have to allow Him to see that wound. We have to allow Him to bring us to Himself. And so we'll just take some time to press into that resistance, to really seek the Lord and ask what it is that He desires to show us about ourselves or about His deep and enduring love for us. So again, we'll just take some more time. You know, if He didn't speak any kind of resistance, to just stay in that place of joy or peace. Just allow this time to be a time of deeper communion with Him. Or maybe if we are experiencing that separation from the Lord, that He would stir up within us a greater desire for closeness, a hunger and a thirst for Him. We thank you that you do not leave us, that you have given your life for us, that we might be with you in eternity. Just ask, Lord, for each of these graces that we have received to be sealed in our hearts, and that as this retreat continues, that you would maybe expand or grow our desire, or just continue to speak that word that you have already spoken to our hearts. And we ask all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.